Hello, it's Jane. Had my bandage out today. Whew. Where do I start? So, first off, everything is going exceptionally well down there. It looks like a car crash, but the nurse has said that everything looks fantastic, like picture perfect, exactly where it should be. So all is good, except my my complete terror of all things medical. So I can't even look at it because it's not that it grosses me out. It's that I'm so afraid of medical stuff. Like this is I'm talking about a fundamental fear, a a, a fear I've had my entire life. Um, I don't know why. I'm just absolutely terrified by medical stuff. So, yeah, I'm trying not to look at it. I will give you a very detailed description of what's going on down there because I don't have a problem with what is going on down there, like intellectually, right? It's just I have this preternatural fear of all things gory. Ugh. Anyways, after breakfast, the nurse came and grabbed me and we went to the examination room they have here. It was just the nurse taking the bandage off. And now I just assume that's just going to be the nurse doing all the rest of it too. Seeing as it's, yeah, everything's fine down there. There would be no reason for a surgeon to actually look at it. I wonder if that is just ever so slightly. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not sure whether that's crooked or not. And I'm wasting your time by fidgeting with it. That's all right. I've got some of your time. Yeah. Whew. Whew. It's going good. Like, it's fine, but oh my God. It's so intense to look at. And of course I can't show you anything because I'm not going to show you anything anyways, even if I could, but I couldn't anyways because it's YouTube. So basically, starting at the top and going down, I have a 2x3 inch bandage over where the blood tube came out because it's still weeping a little bit. It takes a few days for it to stop weeping. So I've got a 2x3 inch band-aid over that. And then moving, so that's about slightly to the right of center of about right on my waistline, not like the lower waistline, like the hip line. Yeah, not the waistline, the hip line. And then moving down from that, there's pairs of holes. There's 3 pairs of holes on either side where the stitches works. Remember I said before how the stitches went through the skin and back out again. So I've got the marks from where the stitches went through. Towards the center, next step in, I've got the let's just call it the gross labia majora. And when I say gross, I don't mean like gross to look at, but gross as the larger object, because everything is quite swollen and there's a bunch of stuff going on. And then it comes down into a fairly wide, I'd say about an inch wide, U-shaped valley in the center. And it's basically, that is the depression from what the bandage was. Um, and I'm supposed to keep everything open and exposed, get as much air on it as possible, keep it dry, keep it, keep it from getting moist, like perspiration and stuff like that. Um, so on either side, basically down the center line of those, again, I mean gross is in large, not gross is in gross to look at. The gross labia majora structures, because they're still swelling, right? Like this is going to take an entire year for everything to settle down. So right now, everything is like, the swelling has gone down from what it was, but there is still natural swelling there that's going to stick around for quite some time. So these structures that I'm looking at now will be there, a year from now. It'll look quite different. But anyways, so you get these, the labia majora mounds, and then a U-shaped valley in between about an inch wide. Down the center line of those mounds is a suture line down either side, very, very nicely put together. Very nice. It's going to be the finest of thin scar lines. It really is going to be fantastic. I mean, it can't be perfect because scar lines are inevitable, but yeah, all things considered, they're going to be really nice scar lines. In the center, going down at the top, is still a wadge of gauze that's there, because it's tough to look at. It's tough to talk about. So I might have to pause a couple times as I go through this, because again, it's so frustrating, because like if I didn't have this stupid fear of medical stuff, I would just be like, woo, I'd just be, oh my god, this is amazing, look at it, oh my god, hey, but I can't, because it's a fucking medical thing. Oh, I'm working through this. So going down the center, about, I'd say, 2.5 inches. Well, I mean, that's not gonna, it's a terrible landmark. I don't know how to measure this stuff. I don't know. So the labia majora, I mean, you can find pictures of this anyway, so it's not like this is an unusual procedure or look. It looks pretty standard for this kind of thing, so you can find pictures, so I don't really need to get crazy with the descriptions. So at the top, at the center, is clitoris, which is formed from a piece of the head of the penis. I'm 100% sure that must have come off of the left side, because it feels like it's from the left side, because I still have the original brain mapping. So in my brain, like if I close my eyes and just go by feel, it feels like it's on the left side of the glands of my penis. So I'm fairly sure it was from the left side. I'd much rather it was from the center line, because it's kind of annoying that it has that leftness feel to it. But I mean, this stuff will all shift around in my head over time, so that's probably not an issue. And yeah, it's stitched all around, and there's gauze stuck to it, and it's gory. Oh, good Lord, is it gory? Oh, below that is the catheter coming out of my urethra, and below that is the opening to my vaginal canal. I can see the it's not a condom, but it's a condom shaped condom like thing, um, that's full of packing, and then it's tied up at the end, and then there's some stitches over top just to hold it in, to keep the from the cavity from, to prevent the cavity from pushing it out. So it's got some stitches over the top holding in, some twinges of pain from those stitches, but they really only when I move in a funny way. Really not a lot of pain. Anyways, I can't really say too much more about what's going on down below what I can see from this point, because I did take some pictures earlier with the intent of like looking at them very closely so that I could give a better description. I couldn't look at them. I really tried. They're good pictures. They're accurate and they capture everything. But I really tried to look at them before this and I couldn't. Maybe tomorrow I can look at them because I have to dilate tomorrow. So, I have to get more intimate with what's going on there. So maybe after I dilate, then I can look at the pictures and then I can give a better description. So anyways, basically I can only describe what I can see, and I can only see it about halfway down. I can't see what's down below that. I know that there's more suture lines below that, and there's other stuff going on down there, but I can't see it. I can't tell you what's going on. So feelings. I'm not emotional feelings, but sensate feelings, peripheral nervous system feelings. As I said, I'm fairly certain the piece came from the left-hand side, which is mildly annoying. There's a burning sensation with that, and there's also a spiking sensation as well. Interestingly enough, if I close my eyes and really focus my attention on the sensation, it's like, picture a sphere, right? And then there's a patch right here on the sphere that's the piece of tissue that is forming the clitoris. And then directly opposite, sphere-wise, is where the sharp pain is. So you get this dull, warm pain, like it feels a little bit hot and like a little bit burny. Large area here, and then direct, like spherically opposite, is a sharp pain, which is interesting because that helps me understand how all of those nerves are actually mapped in the brain. Because there's a sulcus across the top of the brain, the parietal midline. I forget what the hell it's called, that midline. Anyway, it goes. I can't remember all the stupid brain terminology. I used to know it, and I've forgotten so much of it. And of course, I didn't do any research or anything before I made this video. I'm just like going in the moment. But anyways, right across the top of the brain, like this, there's a valley, a rift down into the brain, right? And mapped on the front side, at the top, but mapped on the front side, starting from the center and moving down about that far down either side. That's where all the peripheral nervous system input nerve information, it gets mapped onto. And then the back side is where all the control signals, executive control signals, because you've got a lot of autonomic control signals coming from the core of the brain. But anyways, it's all mapped on the front side of that fissure, and it seems to me, based on what's left of the tissue, so what's left to generate signals, it feels like it's a spherical representation in my brain, which is an interesting concept. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because you've got a nerve bundle coming up, and then and then it branches out um, like a dandelion to all of the nerve endings at the skin, right? And so it's kind of like a dandelion of nerve endings. Um, which is topologically a spherical representation. So topologically, it's mapped as a sphere in the brain. It would seem, and it does make sense. Anyways, other pains, stitches kind of pull a little bit, but they're not that bad. The the There's some numbness still along the labia majora. But where I do have, like, I can run my fingers over those long suture lines where because they basically reshaped all the skin, right? Because the skin of the penis is up higher, and then it has to go way down underneath and then in, right? So everything gets pulled down, and then it gets all stitched back up again. So I can run my finger over those suture lines, and I can feel them, but they don't hurt, right? So it's really not that, like, there's a lot of twinges and tingles and spikes and stuff going on, but depending on what I'm doing, it's either a 6 or a 2. And when it's a 6, it's a 6 as a spike. So there's not enough pain going on for me to justify taking painkillers. And if I took painkillers, I wouldn't be able to explain to you what the sensations are. But just the raw, like, right now I'm starting to get used to it, and the volume of it, because since the bandage was taken away, there has been an absolute flood of nerve ending signals coming up into my brain. My brain has just been lit up since this morning, which is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. But it's starting to die down now, which is good. And I knew that it would. I knew that it would eventually start to die down. Which is why, again, I don't want to take painkillers, because I know what to expect. But yeah, it's just been an absolute flood of sensory information into my brain. Oh, and it's been overwhelming. Did I feel joy? No, I haven't felt any joy yet. This is a medical ordeal right now. The joy will come later when it's not a car crash down there. Right now, I am literally coping with the situation. I'll feel joy later. Yeah, it's just exhausting. Just mentally exhausting. So, went into the room, got on the table, put my feet in the stirrups. That was the first time I've ever done that. That was a weird experience. Nurse right there. Anyways, yeah, it wasn't painful taking off. Like the stitches stung a bit, but there was that was it. Just some stinginess from the stitches, and then the stuff was off. Gauze was off. It was okay. But I felt, oh my God, did I feel exposed. Oh, I feel incredibly exposed. I mean, it doesn't help that I have to lay here buck naked from the waist down with my legs spread open so that air can get at it. I am literally exposed. But yeah, it just even when I like with the dressing gown on and like walking around, I feel so exposed. It's so weird. It's such a bizarre feeling. Yeah, it's going to take me a while to get used to this. Yeah. And yeah, it's an amazing experience. Like it's scary and it's painful and it's it's everything. Like it's all of the stuff that I've been saying over the last few days. But at the same time, like right now, I just feel so damn lucky to be here, to be experiencing this. So damn lucky. Like this is a fundamental morphological change to my body, you know? Like I'll get the joy later. Right now, I'm going to be hyper analytical because I'm coping. Yeah, I feel lucky. That is kind of other than mm, the the grossness of the not grossness the fear I feel around this medical stuff. Putting that aside, yeah, I just feel so lucky to be where I am right now. So lucky. Um, what else? So did I cry? I did cry. Actually, I've cried twice, but I cried for different reasons. So afterwards, after it was the bandage was off, I had a shower right away. Um, Not a big deal. Don't come in here. They keep just barging in without like they knock and then walk in, and it's like I'm half naked, and I'm trying to make a YouTube video, so don't stay out. Um, so where was I? I just completely trashed my thought. Oh, so I had a shower right away. After, it was uneventful, no big deal. Although I felt like I was just like I was on pins and needles. How do I explain this? What it felt like. Uh, yeah, I can't really think of an analog because basically, you know, everything that was there has been pulled down tight, and it is tight on the skin going down the front because it has been pulled down. When I stand up straight and walk, I can feel the tension of the skin pulling, and that's to be expected because they actually did pull the skin down underneath, and it will take a while to for that to kind of ease up and get used to being where it's at. But I felt all this tension going down underneath and then up inside, and it's like ah. The shower was fine. The shower was no big deal. 10 minutes, that's all I was allowed. 10 minutes. And minimal water on the actual area. And then afterwards, I was just to lay here to let it dry. Everything open to let it dry. And basically, they've said, when you're not doing something, try and stay with it fully exposed to air. Like, stay naked from the. Well, you can cover up your legs to a certain extent because your legs do get kind of cold. I'm bringing the blankets up to about like 2/3 up the way up my thighs, so that just the middle part is exposed. Um, um, but yeah, you're supposed to keep it exposed to air as much as possible when we're not up and about and doing stuff. I'm wearing my robe around here because everyone does that. Like when you're at this stage, you're not putting any kind of clothes on. You're just gonna wear your robe. We're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. Yeah. I kind of want to say where my mind thinks that piece of where my clitoris is not where it physically is. My mind wants to say it's a couple inches higher up than it actually is. And that will, because it's kind of like here it is, and it kind of thinks it's here, although it feels like it's on the left-hand side, but laying on the right-hand side, if you know what I mean. Like as if the penis was laying over on its right-hand side. That's kind of what it feels like. So I'm sure, like, yeah, it will move down eventually. Anyways, so when I came back, when I was laying here after the shower, I did cry. It wasn't tears of joy. It was tears of I don't know. I don't really know. I did specifically say, to myself, this is for you, Jane. This is for you. But I said that after, right? The tears, I don't know what really triggered it. It's just probably the intensity of the moment just triggered the tears. That was pretty much it. I just laid still, because the more still I stay, the less, zaps and pings and things like that happen. And then went for lunch. After lunch, I came back and laid here for a little bit. And then the nurse came and got me, and I had to do a sitz bath. So that's like that much water in the bottom of the tub with just like a little dollop of soap, like like the baby soap, mixed into the water. And then I just sit in there for 10 minutes and I constantly swish water against it, which is a good thing because there's quite a bit of blood came out. The water had a tinge of red throughout it by the end of the 10 minutes. So I just sat there and I cried. I cried my guts out when I sat in the tub. And it was not because I was happy or sad or anything like that. It was not an emotional thing. It was a medical trauma crying. If my best friend is watching, you know what I'm talking. You've seen me do it. That absolute trauma crying that happens to me when I'm dealing with a medical situation. That's what it was. Just cried my guts out. Oh, and then so that was over. Then I came back in here, and I've been just sitting here drying, and well, it's dry now, but letting it air, and not thinking about it, not thinking about anything, just kind of distracting myself with YouTube videos, trying not to think about this any more than I have to, because it's a bit overwhelming. It's sensory overwhelming, so my brain is just getting completely overwhelmed by sensory inputs, and I just, when you get so wound up, you start to shake. That's what it's like. I feel shaky. I've got so much information flooding into my brain that my brain doesn't know what to do, and I've been feeling really tired as a result, because that's what happens. You get tired if you get overloaded sensorily, and emotions. Yeah, I'm not really dealing with emotions right now. Right, I'm keeping this completely analytical. as much as possible, because whew, this is a lot. If I didn't have my issues with medical stuff, then I would probably be very happy and be very fascinated by what I'm looking at, because it's not like the worst thing in the world. I've seen worse, right? So, like, if this was on another person, I could handle looking at it. On myself, I can't handle looking at it. Um, yeah. So there's nothing more today. I just kind of chill until dinner, and then after dinner, continue chilling. And tomorrow morning after breakfast, they take the stint out. So they take the packing out, they take the condom like thing out, and they take the catheter out. I talked to the nurse last night about the catheter, and he said, oh, if you've had leaking around the catheter, then you don't have enough swelling to warrant them having to put a catheter back in again, because that was a big fear that they'd take it out and then they'd feel like they'd have to put it back in for whatever reason. But he said, nah, it's actually quite uncommon to have to put one back in again. And if you're having leaking, which I was having leaking, then yeah, there shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, everything should be fine. And then the next step is dilating for the first time. I'm still not sure how I'm going to feel about that, because I know I'm going to struggle with medical catastrophe going on down there. But when I look at the size, because they imagine a condom stuffed full of gauze, right, and then tied up the end like you tie up a balloon, and it's pushed in, and it's held in by some, I think it's 3 stitches that go across over top of it. It's held in, right? So you can see it coming out on either side of those 3 stitches, and it looks quite large. Like the vaginal cavity actually looks surprisingly large. So at first I thought, oh my God, I was going to get all freaked out, like looking, because I haven't seen the dilators yet. I mean, I'm assuming I won't see them until I need to use them. But, because I always have this image in my head based on what people have said. They look at the dilators and go, oh my God, I have to put that inside me. But when I look at the physical size of what's already in there, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty big. Like, it looks pretty big. I'm not saying it is that large, but it looks that large. I can just barely make out the top edge of it from here, but from what I remember of the pictures, it looked quite large. So, yeah, I don't know that I'll have a conceptual problem with the size of the dilator like others seem to have, but putting it in for the first time, I think is going to be a complete mindfuck. Putting this hard plastic thing in an orifice that wasn't there before. That's going to be weird. That's going to be a trippy thing. So, yeah. Whew. I am a fast healer, which is good. And everything does look good down there. And I agree that it looks good. Like, I mean, it looks like a car crash, but I've looked at other pictures, and comparing to other people, yeah, I look as good as like, the best that I've seen. So, yeah, so it's all good down there. Just a little much for me. I don't really know that I have anything else to add to that, because that's all that's happened today, and it has been unbelievably overwhelming. This is so, like, it's what, almost 3:15 now. They took the bandage off around, I'm going to say 9 o'clock in the morning. So 6 hours. Let's just say it's been 6 hours. that time has gone by like in a blink of an eye because it's just been so overwhelming sensorily and also experientially. It's been so overwhelming that the time has just flown by. So, yeah, nothing else has happened and everything is good. And bigger things are happening tomorrow. I have to dilate 3 times tomorrow. And then 4 times, well, 4 times the next day, but 4 times every single day going on for a couple months, right? So, but yeah, I have to dilate 3 times tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a big day. So obviously tomorrow's video is going to be about, getting the packing out, getting the catheter out, getting and then dilating for the first and second time. I'll make the video between the second and the third dilations. So I'll have dilated twice by the time I make the video. I think that's good because I want to do it more than once before I describe what it's like, so that I can do it properly. I mean, maybe I should even wait until later until I've done all 3 so I can give a better comparison of what it's like. I think that kind of makes sense actually, to wait until later in the evening to do the video so that I can say what each of the 3 was like. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so the next video is going to be later in the evening, and that way I can cover absolutely everything. I think that's going to be it. Because again, like the last 6 hours, it's just flown by. But yeah, doing well. Panicky. But, well, so I guess I'll say that's it for now. The saga continues. Whew. Yeah, I was a little cavalier, thinking, yeah, it'll be fine. I feel strong, because I do. I feel strong, right? Except for this area, the rest of me feels perfectly strong. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll be fine going home on the train. Yeah, no. I think now, given how sensitive everything is, I think I'm going to actually ask for painkillers on the morning when I leave, just so that I haven't had any painkillers since I've been here, and I don't want any today, tomorrow, or the next day, if I can avoid it. But I think on the day of travel, I'm going to ask for painkillers because I don't think I want to experience any shooting pains or anything like that when I'm in public. Yeah. But I think that's all right, though, holding out until like the actual day of travel before I actually take any pain meds. I think that's pretty gung ho. Don't you do it. Take your fucking pain meds. Don't be an idiot like me. I'm just a sucker for punishment. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to give a better description of everything that's going on down there, because I will have to get right in there with the dilator. So tomorrow I think I'll be able to give a better description of like the bottom half of what's going on down there, because I'm just going by what I can see, which is only the upper half, and I can't look at the pictures because they're on the phone, and I don't want to go. Whew. It's a lot. It's a lot for me. Okay, so love y'all, and I will talk to you tomorrow. And yay.